Hi guys, I'm back again with another video. I'm just gonna make a quick video. I'm in the mood, so I'm making one. I'm gonna do my top five favorite stories in a video game. Most of them are RPGs, not all of them. I'm gonna do top five, and then I'm gonna do two honorable mentions. And I'll go ahead and start off with the honorable mentions first. The first one I want to mention, it just didn't make it to my top five, mainly because it's been so long since I played the game. I've been kind of holding off to replay this game just because when I replay it, I want to focus only on playing that game, and I want to, soak in the nostalgia that comes with playing it. But that's Breath of Fire 3. I only have the PSP version. I used to have the PS1 version. I remember actually buying it twice when I was a kid. Me and my brother started playing it both at the same time, taking turns. We both had our own save files, and I don't know, something happened to the disc where we couldn't progress, and we ended up buying it again, and then I beat it, and it's always been one of my favorite RPGs of all time, and I can't wait to replay it because I want to experience the story again and just the game. Just I want to replay it and see what because I haven't played this game in like 15 years, but I remember to this day this is still one of my favorite RPGs. I pick it up every now and then just to replay the beginning, and the feels that I get are incredible. So yeah, honorable mention number one is Breath of Fire 3. Not like a, you know, the story isn't mind bending or groundbreaking by all means, but it was. It's just I love the adventure that you go through as the game progresses. It just continues. It's like one big adventure game, and then at the end it gets kind of serious, which I really like. I also like how the bad guy in the game is God, which is awesome. I'm not really religious at all. I'm not a fan of religion, so I always love that game for that purpose. The second honorable mention is a game that again I would love to replay, and I remember just being blown away and impressed. This was my first PSP game that I ever beat. No, actually, not true. Metal Gear Portable Ops was, but this was the first PSP game that I bought when I bought the PSP, and that's Crisis Core. Um, the this When I owned a PSP before and then I sold it regrettably, but this was the first game I bought, and I'm a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. I don't care. Um, People say people talk shit about it because it's done so well. It's the case with most things. I do it too. Like, I don't like The Walking Dead, the TV show, because one, it's not that great of a fucking show, and two, mainly because every fucking dumbass fucking likes it. So I can kind of understand where people don't like Final Fantasy VII in that aspect, but I love Final Fantasy VII. And Crisis Core was a fucking awesome game in my opinion. Story wise, I mean, for a fan, it was to me one of the best things that I've heard. That was, I'm like, wow, Crisis Core is coming out. I can't believe they're gonna do a prequel to fucking Final Fantasy VII, because that's what this is. Essentially, it's a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, one of the most successful, best video games ever made in my opinion. So sorry, I hit the thing. So I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Final Fantasy Crisis Core is definitely worth mentioning for best, one of the best stories of all time. Not all time, but one of my favorite stories, because it continues with Final Fantasy VII. So moving right along, these are now my top five favorite just favorite video game stories that I've played that are in my collection. Granted, there's a lot of games I haven't played yet, so I don't know, that this list may change. I might update it every month or so, or as I continue to finish games. The first one I'll go ahead and mention, it's Suikoden 2. The reason it was a tough to deciding which I liked more, part one or part two. And part one to me will always remain a classic. It was the first RPG I ever beat ever when I was a kid. It was actually, I think it was the first RPG I purchased too. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. But when part two came out, I remember anticipating this game a lot. That's how old I am. I can't believe that this was like the first game where like I couldn't wait for it to be released, and when it did, I bought it day of, and I love the reason why I picked part two over part one is just the story is just way more polished and more in depth in this one, and I love it. I love how the bad guy is not really the bad guy; it's like your best friend, and in the end, you got the showdown. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it. If you haven't played this game, you are fucking up. I suggest you play Suikoden 1, get all 108 stars, and go ahead and continue right after with Suikoden 2. That experience was amazing the first time I did that. And in part 2, it's just the story, like, first of all, the real villain, I forget his name, even though no, just kidding. I hate that. But I forget his name, but yeah, the villain in this game is sadistic. To me, he's right up there with Kefka and fucking and Sephiroth. Why can't I remember? Blight. Blight. So yeah, or is it Blight? Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me. Is there even characters in here? Whatever. Look it up. The villain for this game, I believe his name is Blight. He was really fucked up and just he got off on murdering, like, mass murdering people. So that was pretty deep. The whole conflict between these two characters, you play as him, and this is this is your best friend, and you end up being going against each other. Don't mean to spoil it, but it's a really awesome game. I suggest if you haven't played any Suikoden game, play part 1 and 2 back to back. Highly recommend. The next game is Final Fantasy VII. Of course, I mentioned Crisis Core. I'm going to mention Final Fantasy VII. I don't give a fuck about people talking shit about this game. It's because they're sick and tired of it. And yes, there are other RPGs out there. That there are better RPGs out there, but story-wise, I haven't played a game where the story moves me like it did with this game. This game started it all for me. When I saw it, it revived my love for RPGs. It made me realize that these stories can be fucking amazing. The games can be have incredible stories, and this, like, everything from every aspect about this game, the story of this game, I fucking am in love with from the beginning. And I can watch anyone play this game from beginning to end. I can just sit there and watch it and enjoy it. Like this is how stories should be told when it comes to RPGs, in my opinion. There's a reason why this is such a staple in the RPG community, JRPG community, video game community, period. This game made RPGs fucking popular. So you got to pay respect for that. And a lot of that has to do with the story, not the graphics or gameplay, or really, it's the fucking story that did it. So people should remember that and respect that. The next, it's not an RPG, but you might guess that it's Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. Now, this game made me realize that video games can be a lot like movies. Like, I felt like I was watching a movie when I was watching my friend play it for the first time. And then when I actually got my hands on it and played it, I was addicted. To this day, I'm still a Metal Gear Solid fan. It's my favorite. Besides RPGs, Metal Gear is like my favorite, video game series. So definitely the first Metal Gear, in my opinion, it's better story-wise. It's better than the other games. It's just nostalgic reasons, I believe. But this game for me, this and Final Fantasy VII changed my life. Like, when it comes to video games, again, exactly how a story should be told in a video game. Next, it's this game kind of like, I was getting concerned when I got back into video games. I was playing games, I was enjoying them, but I haven't been playing any games where the story like grips me like Final Fantasy VII or Metal Gear Solid. But this game did a lot, and that's Persona 3. Now, I beat the Answer, and the Answer story is not fabulous or anything like that, but it's the version I played is the PSP version, and that should tell you just how good of a story this game has. I played the version without the bells and whistles that come in this game, like the anime cutscenes. They're not in here. The story's told through static images and voice acting dialogue. So, with that said, the gameplay is still the same. It's actually even improved than the PS2 version, which is great. But it takes a step back when it comes to telling the story because you don't see it through anime animations and all that. But that should tell you how good the story is in this game. I love this game. I can't wait to replay it on the PS2 just to see those cutscenes and play it as a different medium. But this story, I am in love with. I love this story so much, I didn't want to play part 4 because I didn't want it to be better than part 3. That's how much I love that story. So, highly recommended you play Persona 3 if you haven't yet. Highly recommend if you play all the Personas if you haven't yet. In order, all of them. Google it and play them in that fucking order. Fantastic game, great story. Can't wait to replay it to see those animated cutscenes and whatnot and play the game as a whole. I wish they would release it kind of like how they did Persona 4 Golden. They should do like a P3 Golden or whatever the fuck. That would be really cool. The last game I'm going to mention is not an RPG, but to me, this story, it kind of trumps its predecessor, or actually this is a prequel, but in a way, just because the story is more deep, and this is the third game in the series, and I think at the time, they the franchise had they knew what they were doing. It was the third game, and they were more experienced, and they were telling a great story even better, and that's Metal Gear Solid 3. This started it all, but in my opinion, this perfected it. This is the game I played the most. For some reason, though, I like playing as Solid Snake better than Big Boss, just because I like that Snake better. But the Big Boss, playing as Big Boss was, first of all, doing that, going back and playing as, that was fucking awesome. And I love, it's just a work of genius. They got the same voice actor, the same character pretty much, because he's a clone. So you kind of, it was easy for me to fall in love with the protagonist because it's generally the same person almost. And also the fact that, your mentor is the villain and you gotta, hand-to-hand combat, that's how the game ends, is just hand-to-hand fucking combat. Kind of like part 4. But just the story was very deep. Just between her and the boss. That was her and Snake, or him and the boss. Oh, I'm sorry, but fantastic story, very deep. The ending was very moving. I kind of wish they would make this into a movie verbatim, what happened in the game, because it's that good. It like reminded me of Rambo or something. It was just really awesome, very well told. Probably one of my favorite stories of all time is Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid, and Final Fantasy. It's hard to choose which one I like more, but I think I'm going to have to go with Metal Gear Solid 3. It's just, all the bosses were cool. The end, like his story, like that concept for a villain is amazing. Like a sniper that doesn't fucking move, and then just the cutscenes, the brutal cutscenes of you getting your fucking ass beat, losing your eye, and all that getting tortured. That's what I like about Metal Gear. You experience like a fucking Rambo movie, or like you experience this shit like hands on, and you get involved in the story and in the characters. Games don't do that anymore. I'm sorry, they don't, unless it's a Metal Gear Solid game. So those are my top 5 games. Top 5 favorite stories as of yet, just by skimming through my collection real quick. I'm sure it'll change. I'll make another video. I just wanted to make a video, and the topic was in my head. I have some time. I'm like, why not? So thanks again for watching, guys. Let me know what your favorite video game stories are. It doesn't have to be 5. It can be 500. Who cares? Leave a comment if you want. I always enjoy them. Sorry I haven't been replying. I'm actually going to get to that after I'm done making this video. I'm going to reply to some of the comments I have. I appreciate all of my subscribers, all of my viewers, and every single comment, whether it's negative or positive. I don't think I have any negative comments or any negative feedback whatsoever, mainly because I have such little viewers, and I don't do this to make money or anything. Like I said that before. I just do this for fun. But I do enjoy any comment whatsoever. So, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Trust me. So leave a comment, subscribe if you feel like it. And then until next time, thanks for watching. Blah.